sustainable agriculture is not really strict. It is very wide process, and usually process that refers to farming practices that will meet current food and processing needs like fiber, textile, and so on, with such manner to keep potential of agricultural land, soils, resources, and so on to feed future generations. So it means that sustainable agriculture, putting attention on preserving the environment, including soils, including water, including biodiversity, reducing input, reducing pollution, and protection of whole environment. The principle is to keep environmental health, but in same time to increase economic profitability and manage social equity. In this manner, it is much wider process than only farming. It is maybe wider social context approach, let's say.
I completely agree with the professor. Sustainable agriculture is a target situation, and our way towards sustainable agriculture is a process. So we need some goals ahead of us on this way, along this process. And when we look where are these goals, we have them defined, for instance, in the Common Agricultural Policy of the European Union. And there are defined social goals, environmental goals, and economic goals. To start with the economic goal, the aim is to foster a smart, competitive agricultural sector. For the environment, the goal is to support and strengthen environmental protection. And the social goal is to strengthen the socio-economic structure of the rural areas. That means to save jobs in agriculture and also to save the generation renewal in agriculture. And these three aspects of sustainable agriculture, the economic, the environmental, and the social aspect, has also been endorsed by the Western Balkan leaders in the year 2020 in the Sofia Declaration on the Green Agenda for the Western Balkans. And why is it essential for the future? I can speak mostly from the environmental point of view. There, sustainable agriculture is very closely related to the issues of soil, air and water protection, which I think are essential resources for the future generations. And above that, in the last years and also for the future, climate change and climate change adaptation, as well as biodiversity protection, are the most important, I would say, hot topics in sustainable agriculture. Yes, I would say it is a transition of many steps to be taken, not only in agriculture, but along the whole food chain, from farm to fork. This is also laid down in the European Union Farm to Fork strategy, and this transition starts from the agricultural production side. Agriculture is an important stage of the food system transition, but cannot make the shift and change alone. So an overall shift in society is necessary along the food chain, including food processing, food transport, food trades and retail to the consumers in the restaurants or in the pubs, but also in their households. And also the final stage of the food system chain should be included in the perspective of transition, which means how many food waste are we producing and how are we dealing with this. So all actors of the food chain must play their part. The transition is complex, but it is possible because small steps in each of the food system stages lead to an overall transition of society and also of the economy of the environment.
Very beginning, essential for me is knowledge, education, research. Farmers have to know what to do. Whatever is written in the fancy policy documents, strategies. Farmers are doing the work, and they have to know how to protect soil, how to protect waters, how to manage water and animals and crops and so on. First of all, I believe in digitalization, in implementation of the decision support systems based on the sensors of informations and making decision. I would say automatization based on this make farmers to be more relaxed and do not invest a lot of efforts in these systems. I highly believe then there is alternatives in robotics and gamification. It is not only problem of polluting soil, water. We are losing farmers. There is no farmers in the rural areas. Who is going to do the work? Robots are really one of the best solutions from my point of view.
One important current trend, the perspective of the whole food system and the transition of many stakeholders in the sustainable direction towards sustainability. I think this trend is quite new and this perspective is quite new. But focusing now more on the agricultural production part, like you, Professor, I can say for Austria, one important trend in the direction of sustainable agriculture is organic farming. We in Austria made a quite early shift, starting in the 1960s, towards increasing organic farming areas and farms, and this trend is currently ongoing. Some other important current trends in the direction of sustainable agriculture in Austria are measures reducing nutrient emissions in agriculture. This is the good agricultural practices to reduce nutrient losses to the air as ammonia or greenhouse gases and also to the water. These are measures implementing the Nitrates Directive, as well as measures addressing biodiversity targets and also measures to maintain and enhance carbon sequestration in biomass and in the soil. In the EU4Green project, we want to support the implementation of the Green Agenda in this action field of reducing nutrient losses to water and increasing nutrient efficiency at farm level. The possible negative effects of climate change on Austrian agriculture includes yield losses, quality losses, as well as decreasing yield security due to increasing dry periods or increased climate variability and unpredictability of weather events. But on the other hand, agriculture can also take up a lot of measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
About climate change in North Macedonia or Western Balkan, we are affected much earlier than climate change issue was. Just look where Macedonia average yield of maize, of wheat, of other crops are among the lowest in the Europe, and not only Macedonia, Albania, Kosovo. All Western Balkans has very, very low yields, and it is not from now, it is from ever. So our environment is not really favorable for crop production. It is anyhow too hot, new pests, new diseases, and so on. So many number of problems are associated with climate change that we cannot manage. So I do not expect that Western Balkan problems will be solved with one manual. The problem is much wider, huge investments in knowledge, in know-how, in equipment, in changing the practices to reach average yield of Europe. Climate change is making a lot of troubles to agricultural production. However, agriculture also causes a lot of troubles for climate change because agriculturalists has methane emission. Carbon dioxide is also emitted from soils and so on. And also in my country, nitrous oxides source is agriculture. If we want to be more sustainable from point of view of agriculture, is adopt the plant-based diet, not strictly plant-based, but at least reduce meat consumption and find some alternatives, minimizing food waste, and it will do a huge benefit for agriculture as a whole.
We can buy or eat an increasing share of organic food, like it was the case in Austria, or of food from the region with low distances between production and consumption, and by thus avoiding or reducing the greenhouse gas intensive food.